Every year, I avoided artichokes because I've never cooked them before and I'm so intimidated by them. But this year, I decided to risk it and push myself out of my comfort zone. I figured the worst that can happen is I fail, but best case scenario, I learned something new. I bought my plants before I had turned over and prepared my garden beds for spring. So when I finally planted them, they looked pretty rough. But what I do know is that plants are resilient, so I figured I'd plant them and just see how they do.
They don't look very good. It's like crunchy and sad.
Often when I'm gardening, Mina will put her ball into the garden beds because she knows that's where my attention is. I didn't even realize she was doing that here, but look at her being so patient. Once the artichokes adjusted to their new, not neglected environment, they started to thrive. I will say I probably harvested the artichokes a little late. I believe from my Google searches I should have picked them when the leaves were a bit tighter, but I'll try this next time. I read that the stems were edible, so I made sure to harvest as much of the stems as I could. I know boiling is the basic way to cook an artichoke, but since I love roasted vegetables, I wanted to take a stab at roasting mine. First up, I cut the stem off. I cut the top of the artichoke. Next, I removed some of the bottom leaves. Then I trimmed the remaining leaves that had spiky tips. Then I submerged the artichoke into lemon water since they'll start to oxidize right away. I peeled the stem and submerged in lemon water. I repeated this for all of my artichokes. Next, I cut the artichoke in half and removed the choke, or the fuzzy, inedible part inside, with a paring knife. I noticed here it was also starting to oxidize right away, so I also squeezed lemon juice directly inside. I saw a recipe from the Modern Nona on TikTok that used these flavors in a stuffed artichoke. I was too intimidated and worried I wouldn't be able to remove the choke all the way by scooping it out, but I loved the flavor combo. So I mixed minced garlic, olive oil, lemon juice, grated Parmesan, Italian breadcrumbs, and fresh parsley. I placed my artichokes on a baking sheet, drizzled with olive oil, and generously stuffed my mixture into and on the artichoke halves and stems. I topped with extra seasoning and some salt and roasted it in the oven at high heat for about half an hour. I noticed my leaves got a little crispy, so I've seen videos where this is covered in foil and in a baking dish, so I'll try this next time. After I filmed this, I actually flipped them upside down and cooked them a little longer until the hearts were fork tender. This was my first time trying to grow and cook artichokes, and let me tell you, it was a labor of love. It was a lot of work for such a small nugget of deliciousness, but the bite of the heart in all that garlicky goodness was something I'll never forget. While I harvested my first round of artichokes to eat, I decided to let the second round flower because I heard that artichoke flowers are actually really beautiful. I wish the video captured their beauty better, but they were such a vibrant purple. I know there were plenty of mistakes with my artichokes, but I think my favorite part of making this video is that I tried something new and pushed myself out of my comfort zone. If I can cook an artichoke, what else could I do if I just tried? Thanks so much for stopping by our garden and our home. We'll talk again soon. Bye.
Rough start, but
I don't know, Jer, actually. Is it worth it? This whole bed for the artichokes?
Tell me.